Hello students. Our next chapter is General Principles and Isolation of Elements. Now in this chapter, we are going to discuss metallurgy. That is, what is metallurgy? So metallurgy, it is a scientific and technological process which is used for the isolation of metal from its ores. So usually the metals are exist in the earth crust. That is the main resource or source for these metals are this earth crust and sea water, that is ocean water. Metals are usually existed in the combined state or native state. The metals which are existed in the combined states, they are reactive. For example, sodium, magnesium, iron, zinc, and aluminium. And these combined state metals are easily attacked by natural substances such as oxygen, water molecule, and carbon dioxide. And the metals of combined states cannot be obtained in pure forms. And they should be isolated using various techniques. Whereas the metals which are existed in the native state or in the free state, they are less reactive. Example, silver, gold, platinum, copper, mercury. And the metals which are existing in the native states, they are not attacked by natural substances such as oxygen, water, carbon dioxide, etc. And these metals of native state can be obtained in a native form. And these are easy for isolation. The next comes some metallurgical terms such as minerals, ores, and matrix. Minerals are the naturally occurring substances from which metal can be extracted by mining. And ores are the naturally occurring minerals from which metal can be extracted economically and conveniently. And matrix, which is also known as gum, the earthy substance which are associated with the metal and is found in the earth in the which is found in the ores is called matrix or gum. Then comes flux. Flux is a substance which combines with a unwanted earthy material such as gum to form an easily fusible material called slag. Remember that all ores are minerals, but all minerals are not ores. Types of minerals. So mainly there are oxide minerals are there, carbonate minerals are there, sulfates, silicates, halides, nitrates, sulfides. These are all minerals. Ores of some metals. Ores of iron such as magnetite, that is Fe3O4, hematite, Fe2O3, copper pyrite, CuFeS2, then limonite, that is 3 molecules of Fe2O3 and 3 molecules of water. Then iron pyrites, FeS2. Then ores of copper, that is cuprite, Cu2O, copper glance, Cu2S, malachite, that is CuOH taken twice, CuCO3, azurite, CuOH taken twice, 2 molecules of CuCO3. Ores of mercury, that is cinnabar. And ores of tin, that is cassiterite, that is SnO2, tin pyrite, that is SnS2, Cu2S, Fes, ores of silver, that is silver glance, Ag2S, horn silver, that is AgS, then ores of zinc, zinc blende, that is ZnS, zincite, that is ZnO, calamine, that is ZnCO3, then ores of lead, that is galena, PbS, then angelcite, that is PbSO4. These are some ores of metals. This metallurgy knows the following principles, that is ore which is concentrated by hydraulic washing, magnetic suppression, flotation, and by leaching. This concentrated ore, the metal can be extracted. That is, extraction of this metal from the concentrated ore involves calcination, roasting, compound to metal oxides, hydrometallurgy, pyrometallurgy, electrometallurgy, that is metal oxide to free metal. Then there is the ore which is extracted undergoes refining by distillation, liquefaction, electrolytic refining, poling, zone refining, vapor phase refining, chromatography. They'll get pure metal which is 99.99%. Then extractive techniques. So it is a process of removing impurities or undesired materials or unwanted materials from the ore, leaving behind the required metal. So different process follows are hydraulic washing, magnetic separation, flotation, leaching. The principle involved in the hydraulic washing is there is a difference in the gravities of the ore and the gangue particles. Ore particles when it comes in contact with water becomes heavier, and impurities or gangue particles when they comes in contact with water they float along with water due to their gravity or due to their density difference. Hydraulic classifier method, that is, the powdered ore is poured in a cone shaped classifier. A stream of water is passing through the bottom. When this ore comes in contact with water, the ore particles becomes heavier, settle down, whereas impurities they float along with the water. And this method is called hydraulic classifier method. The magnetic separation. The basic principle of this magnetic separation is magnetic properties of the ore components can be separated from non-magnetic properties of impurities. The finely powdered ore is poured on this conveyor belt, which is magnetic in nature. The non-magnetic particles they are thrown away, and this magnetic particles which is attracted towards this magnet and is collected in the form of heap. Froth flotation process. The basic principle of this froth flotation process, the ore particles are get wetted by oil, whereas impurities are get wetted by water. So working of this froth flotation process, when this ore is ore is added with little fine oil or oil in a water and is agitated by blowing air. Due to that, froth or foam is produced. These ore particles get wetted by oil, and whereas impurities get wetted by water, they will settle down. Whereas ores in the form of froth or foam is separated and is treated with acid. During this froth flotation process, activators and depressants are the compounds which activates and depress the floating property of one of the components of ore, thus help in the separation of different minerals present in the same ore. For example, copper sulfate is an example of activators, while sodium and potassium cyanates are the examples of depressant. The next comes leaching. Leaching is often used if the ore soluble in suitable solvent. So the extraction of silver or gold by leaching process. The silver or gold is treated with aqueous solution of sodium and sodium cyanide solution and is brewed by air to get a soluble complex. This soluble complex, when it is treated with a suitable reducing agent such as zinc displaces this metal from the soluble complex. So this is a general reaction for the silver and gold, that is hydrometallurgy for the extraction of silver and gold method. So this nearby Hattie gold mines, they are using this process of hydrometallurgy technique of extraction for the extraction of gold and silver. That is, this soluble complex is treated with zinc. Zinc displaces this metal from the soluble complex. Extraction of crude metal from concentrated ore. The concentrated ore must be converted into a form which is suitable for production. Usually, the sulfide ore is converted to oxide before reduction. Oxide ores are easier to reduce. Thus, isolation of metals from the concentrated ore involves two major steps, that is conversion to oxide, and second one is reduction of the oxide to metals. Calcination. Calcination is a process of heating the concentrated ore at high temperature below its melting point in the absence of air or oxygen is called calcination. The main purpose of this calcination of ore to convert carbonates and hydroxides ore into oxides. So these carbonates and hydroxides are get converted into oxides. During this calcination, volatile impurities are removed, moisture removed, and the ore becomes porous. Roasting. Roasting is a process of heating the concentrated ore at high temperature below its melting point in the presence of air or oxygen is called roasting. So the purpose of roasting, so this conversion of sulfide ore into oxides and sulfates. During this roasting, the impurities like sulfur, arsenic, antimony are removed, moisture is removed. So oxides are easily oxidizable substance, and the sulfide ores are usually mainly used. They convert the sulfide ores into oxides. Difference between roasting and calcination. Remember that both the processes are heating the concentrated ore at high temperature below its melting point. In the presence of excess of air or oxygen is called roasting. In the absence of air or oxygen is called calcination. During this roasting, sulfide ores are oxidized to metal oxides, whereas during this calcination, carbonate ores are get decomposed to metal oxides. Then next comes smelting. It is a process of extracting the impure molten metal from its ore at high temperature using suitable reducing agents such as carbon. For example, Fe2O3, by using suitable reducing agents such as carbon monoxide gives iron and carbon dioxide. Pyrometallurgy. Pyrometallurgy, it is a process in which the concentrated ores are reduced to form crude metal at high temperature. So during this pyrometallurgy, ore is reduced to the metal using high temperature. So reducing agents such as carbon, hydrogen, aluminum, etc. can be used. Hydrometallurgy. Hydrometallurgy is a process of extraction of metal by converting their ores into aqueous solutions of the metal compounds and reduction of these solutions usually using suitable reducing agents. So during this hydrometallurgy, the extraction of metals from aqueous solutions of their salts. So chemical process combining water, oxygen or other substance in the pressurized or the other vessels to dissolve a metal from its ore, concentrate or an intermediate product. Electrometallurgy. So electrometallurgy, electrolytic reductions of the metallic compound. The metallic compounds such as oxides, hydroxides, halides are electrolyzed in their fused state. For example, sodium chloride on electrolysis gives sodium and chlorine. Refining. Refining is the purification of the crude metal by removing metallic and non-metallic impurities is known as refining of metals. So refining metals, they involves the following 7 methods, that is distillation, liquefaction, electrolytic refining, polling, zone refining, vapor phase refining, chromatography. We'll discuss one by one. Distillation. This method is used to remove the non-volatile impurities from volatile impurities. For example, zinc, cadmium and mercury by distillation can be purified by distillation. So during this distillation, which can be used to remove non-volatile impurities from volatile impurities. So impure metal is heated in the retort, where pure metals vaporizes and get condenses separately, whereas non-volatile impurities that left in the furnace. Liquefaction. Liquefaction, in this process, the basic principle of this liquefaction is a low melting metal forms a fusible liquid on heating and flows down. This method is employed when impurities having higher melting point and require metal having lower melting point. Metals like bismuth, tin, lead, and mercury are separated from their crude form by liquefaction. Liquefaction. This impure metal is heated in the sloping hearth where the metals get floating and it is collected. That is pure metal, molten metal collected, whereas impurities they are escaping in the form of vapors in the sloping earth. Then electrolytic refining. The basic principle of this method is impure metals are refined in an electrolytic bath containing aqueous solutions of their salts. Impure metal is made as anode and pure metal made as cathode. Then pooling. The principles of this pooling, the hydrocarbons gases liberated from the green wood reduces the metal oxides into metal. So in this method is used for copper, tin, which contain oxide impurities. For example, copper before impurity is 98%, after purity 99.5%. Zone refining. The basic principle of this method, when an impure molten metal is melted and allowed to solidify, the impurities move away from the solid region and prefer to distribute it in the molten region. This method is also called fractional crystallization method. Then vapor phase refining. The principle of this method is the metal is converted into volatile compound and collected elsewhere. This vapor phase refining undergoes decomposition to give pure metal. For example, nickel, that is impurities of this nickel it is heated with steam and carbon monoxide gives nickel tetracarbonyl. Zirconium impurities when it is treated with iodine to form zirconium iodide. Vapor During this vapor phase refining, the volatile compound is thermally decomposed to give pure metal. The metal is converted into a volatile compound and is collected somewhere. This nickel tetracarbonyl is obtained by this Mons process. That nickel can be purified by this Mons process and zirconium can be purified by this Van Arkel method. The next comes column chromatography. The principle is based on the selective adsorptions of the components of a mixture. The different components of the mixtures are adsorbed to different extents on adsorbent. Ellingham diagram. So thermodynamics, that is spontaneity. So this gives free energy equation, that is delta G is equal to delta H minus T into delta S, where delta G stands for change in Gibbs free energy and delta H stands for change in enthalpy and delta S stands for change in entropy. So delta G should be negative. The negative value shows that the stability. In this method, we are finding best reducing agent for the ores. When this metal is heated with oxygen, gives metal oxides. Oxygen it is a gas, whereas metal oxide it is a solid. So during the conversion of metal into metal oxide, so process is exothermic, that is delta H. Change in enthalpy is negative, and change in entropy is negative, means entropy decreases. So at high temperature, free energy change is positive, means it is a non-spontaneous. At low temperature, delta G, that is free energy change is negative, the process is spontaneous. higher the temperature, free energy change decreases. For example, this combustion of carbon can give carbon dioxide. The process is exothermic and change in entropy increases. Delta S becomes positive because in the equation, one molecule of oxygen can give 2 moles of carbon monoxide. So 1 mole of gas get converted into 2 moles of gas. That is a change in the entropy. So change in entropy is positive. So at higher temperature, the free energy change is decreases. For this formation of carbon dioxide, this free energy change is independent of temperature because so in the formation of carbon dioxide, 1 mole of oxygen can give us 1 mole of carbon dioxide since there is no change in the number of moles or number of molecules of the oxygen and carbon dioxide. The combustion of this carbon is a exothermic, so hence delta H is negative, and there is no change in the entropy, hence delta S is 0. So hence delta G is independent of temperature. Then features of Ellingham diagram. So when I plot a graph of free energy change versus temperature for different metal oxides. The graph for the formation of metal oxides is a straight line. This graph is always a straight line with an upward slope. Then there is a sudden change in the slope. See here, there is a sudden change in the slope. There is a sudden change in the slope. For some metal oxides like magnesium oxide, zinc oxide, and mercury oxide. For few metal oxides, there is a sudden change in the slope of for metal oxides like magnesium oxide, zinc oxide, and mercury oxide. This is because there is a sudden change in their phase. The third features for few metal oxides, that is mercury and silver, the graph is at the upper part in Ellingham diagram, means free energy change, that is delta G naught becomes more and more positive for this metal oxides such as mercury oxide and silver oxide. The graph for the formation of carbon monoxide is a straight line with a negative slope. Then the graph for the formation of carbon dioxide is a straight line parallel to the temperature axis. That is, the graph for the formation of carbon monoxide is a straight line with a negative slope. So, formation of carbon monoxide, that delta G becomes more and more negative, and the formation of carbon dioxide is the graph for the formation of carbon dioxide is straight line parallel to the temperature axis. This is because there is no change in the entropy. The significance of Ellingham diagram. The decrease in the stability of the free energy change due to the increase in free energy, that is, the decrease in the stabilities of the metal oxides is due to the increase in free energy change. The positive slope of the metal oxide shows stability decreases with increase in temperature. Then sudden change in the graph shows a phase change, that is solid to liquid or liquid to vapor. The negative slope of carbon monoxide shows that it becomes more stable with increase in temperature. As the temperature increases, the stability of carbon monoxide increases. The tendency of the metals to undergo oxidation is in the order of magnesium oxide. Magnesium is having more tendency to undergo oxidation as compared to aluminium and zinc, iron, mercury, and silver. The Ellingham diagram explaining the formation of different metal oxides, reaction, and the free energy change, that is free energy value. So this is due to the increase in the negative of free energy change for the formation of oxide goes in the order. Magnesium oxide is more negative and becomes more stable as compared to aluminum oxide as compared to zinc oxide, mercury oxide, and silver oxide. There is a free energy change formation of a metal oxide due to the increase in free energy change, that is negative free energy change. Silver oxide and mercury oxide can be easily decomposed at 600 to 700 Kelvin. Then what is the important significance of this Ellingham diagram? So Ellingham diagram can explain at low temperature and carbon monoxide is a better reducing agent. Then extraction of zinc from zinc blende. So zinc blende can be concentrated by gravity separation, and this it is separated by electromagnetic separation, and this zinc blende can be separated by concentrated by flotation because zinc blende is a sulfide ore. Conversion of ore into oxide by roasting. So in the reverberator furnace at 1200 Kelvin, zinc sulfide get converted into zinc oxide. Zinc oxide get converted to zinc sulfide, and zinc sulfide on decomposition at 1200 Kelvin gives zinc oxide, sulfur dioxide, and oxygen. And conversion of metal oxide into free metal by pyrometallurgy. So in a vertical retort furnace, this zinc oxide is heated, that is smelted. During this smelting, this zinc oxide get reduced by using coke, that is carbon. In the presence of carbon monoxide and nitrogen at 1673 Kelvin, gives zinc and carbon monoxide. Refining or purification. Zinc is meant as impure zinc is meant as anode, and pure zinc is meant as cathode. So pure zinc is deposited at aluminum cathode. So zinc splinter, it is treated with daily sulfuric acid gives zinc sulfate, which acts as an electrolytic solution. The extraction of aluminum from bauxite. So this bauxite is concentrated by leaching, that is Bayer's process and Hall's process, where iron impurities are separated. Serpex process, that is white bauxite, where the silica impurities is get separated. This bauxite and impurities, when it is treated with aqueous solution of sodium carbonate, gives sodium meta-aluminate. The sodium meta-aluminate, when it is treated with water and carbon dioxide, the sodium meta-aluminate on decomposition can give aluminum hydroxide. This aluminum hydroxide on decomposition can give aluminum oxide. Extraction. The conversion of ore into oxides, the conversion of metal oxides into free metals by reduction. Aluminium is extracted by electrometallurgy. Electrolysis of pure alumina, that is Hall and Herold process. In the Hall and Herold process, this cryolate Na3Al(F6) is added. So it increases the electrical conductivity and decreases the melting point of the electrolytic solution. So in this Hall and Herold process, this graphite rod is made as anode, and this iron tag, which acts as a cathode. And the reactions are involved in the extraction of aluminum R. Carbon plus oxygen gives carbon monoxide plus oxygen can give carbon dioxide. And remember that 1 kg of aluminium can produce from 0.5 kg of carbon. Refining, that is Hooke's process, that is Hooke's electrolytic process. So in this process, so impurities remain at the bottom when this aluminum acts as a cathode, and mixture of cryolite and barium fluoride, which acts as an electrolytic mixture, and impure aluminum is made as anode. Types of iron. So impure form of iron and purest form of iron. So mainly there are 3 types of iron, that is cast iron, which is also known as pig iron, wrought iron, and steel. So this cast iron or pig iron is a hard and brittle, whereas wrought iron is a soft. However, steel is a neither soft nor brittle. The impurities which are present in the cast iron or pig iron is 4% of carbon. The wrought iron is 0.2%, less than 0.2% of carbon. In the steel, between 0.2 to 2% of carbon. Extraction of iron from hematite. Concentration. Concentration can be done by hydraulic washing. Then extraction. Extraction, this concentrated ore get converted into oxides by roasting. So roasting can be done in a reverberator furnace at 1200 Kelvin, where this iron oxide get converted into, that is, Fe2O3. During this roasting, the sulfur and arsenic impurities are removed. So reduction of oxide into metal, that is by pyrometallurgy, that is smelting. So reduction in a blast furnace to obtain iron metal. So this blast furnace containing cup and cone shape, and it also containing tubes where this hot air is blown. This blast furnace is lined inside with fire clay bricks to sustain high temperature. This molten iron and this molten slag, this molten iron and slag get separated. This molten iron is heavier and this molten slag is lighter, which is floating, and it is separated from this molten iron. This is what blast furnace. The mixture of iron oxide, coke plus carbon calcium carbonate in the ratio of 12:5:3. This mixture is called charge. The charge is charged in the cup and cone arrangement. So this part is called zone of reduction, where reduction takes place. So zone of combustion, that is slag formation, where this slag is removed, such as SiO2 in the form of calcium silicate, and zone combustion. In this region, this combustion of this iron oxide takes place. This is the outlet for slag and this is the outlet for molten iron. The various reactions which takes place in the blast furnace, that is iron oxide, when it is reduced with carbon monoxide, gives spongy iron. This calcium carbonate on decomposition can give calcium oxide plus carbon dioxide. This Fe2O3, when it is treated with carbon, gives Fe, that is spongy iron plus carbon monoxide. So calcium oxide, when it is reacts with impurities such as silicon dioxide, SiO2 gives calcium silicates. This carbon plus oxygen can give carbon monoxide. Then extraction of copper from copper pyrites. So concentration can be done by flotation process, where the ore particles are get wetted by oil and impurities are get wetted by water. Then extraction. Extraction during this, in the extraction of copper from copper pyrites, where the conversion of ores into oxides by roasting. Copper pyrites on roasting gives copper sulfide and ferrous sulfide, and impurities such as arsenic and antimony removed in the form of volatile oxides. The mixture of this iron oxide and ferrous sulfide is known as copper mate. Then reduction of oxides into metal by smelting. The roasted ore plus coke plus sand. This ferrous sulfide gets converted into ferric oxide. This ferric oxide, when it is treated with acidic plugs, they form slag. Bessemerization. That copper mate is transferred into Bessemer converter, where the blast of air is blown, where this copper pyrite, that is copper mate, is get converted into copper and sulfur dioxide, which is poured into a sand molds, where the sulfur dioxide escapes, leaving behind blisters of copper, which is 99%. This blister of copper is refined by electrolytic method. So in the electrolytic method, impure metal is made it as anode and pure metal is made it as cathode. most abundant metal on the earth, that is aluminium. And the uses of this aluminium are, so aluminium is the most abundant metal on the earth, which can be used in the foils, which can be used in the making of utensils, paints, and it can be used in the making of alloys like beryllium. The uses of copper. So copper can be used in the electrical equipments, copper can be used in the vessels, copper can be used in the making of ornaments. Uses of zinc. Zinc can be used in the galvanizing of iron. Zinc can be used in the as a reducing agent. Zinc can be used in the making of alloys like brass, German silver, etc. Thank you.